This is the Going to the Endzone Podcast.
Welcome to this week's Going to the Endzone Podcast. We are at the home of the Casey-Westfield Warriors, Jack Murray and Coach Nicole Christine. I'm Grant Pugh. He is Jeff Brickman. He is the head football coach of the Casey-Westfield Warriors. Coach, thanks for having it out. It's a beautiful week for high school football.
It is a beautiful week. It's a beautiful day today for sure. So we really appreciate you coming and the coverage. And football at Casey-Westfield is pretty exciting right now.
Sure is.
Really exciting, and a really exciting game Friday. Not the finish you guys wanted, but what an exciting opportunity you guys to use that to kind of move forward. A big battle at Mount Carmel last week, Coach.
Yeah, and it was a test. We knew it was going to be a test, and we did a lot of things right in all three phases of the game. We played offense really, really good. We moved the ball up and down the field. We wanted to move the chains, and we did that. Defensively, we played really solid for 3.5 quarters. And Sisson, Blaine, he's a really good athlete. And when I made some adjustments on defense, their coaches made some adjustments offensively, and they took advantage of some weaknesses that we had just because of the front that we had. But and then special teams, we played really well also, and that's all we ever ask of these young men is to, go out there and play hard every down from the opening kickoff to the final horn. And we came up a little bit short, but boy, what a contest. And it really could have gone either way. And we were just on the other side of it.
Coach, you're off to a great 6-1 start this year. Obviously, you got 2 regular season games left. Just how important is it for you guys to have success in those 2 games and, finish strong going into that second season of the playoffs?
Yeah, we can't take anything, anybody lightly at this point. We have to, we got to make sure that we take care of business. And, because right now, sitting at 6-1, we're in the playoffs, but now that 7-1 or 7-2, heaven forbid, or 8-1, you're certainly going to get a higher seed, and then you really good chance of getting that first home berth, playoff berth at home, and so that's what we've been talking to the guys about since Friday. Is okay. Now we're looking at seedings, and we want to be on the good side of that.
And I know we were talking earlier about the fact that you don't know who you're going to have to play in the playoffs, but it must be a good feeling to know that, hey, we've got this loss and we still have a really solid season ahead and a postseason ahead. What have you learned from your guys after getting a loss against a really, really great team and playing so well, like you said, about, how they react to those losses? This is your first year with them. So what did you notice about their resilience and their ability to keep looking ahead?
They overcame adversity without question. Everybody on Saturday was pretty bummed. Coaching staff, the players. We didn't have practice on Saturday. It was a late night getting back, and we hit hard and they hit us hard, and so it's just good to let the body rest. But when we showed up here Monday for practice, our guys were like, okay, we're hungry, let's go get the next one. And that's overcoming adversity. You have a choice all the time. You can either dwell on that and have it be a negative, or you can say, we're going to learn from that and we're going to move forward. And now we play the Richland County Tigers, and they're gonna have to pay a little price because I think our guys are gonna be a little upset.
Yeah.
A bounce back week as your guys try to bounce back. Coach, what's this first year been like? I mean, you already knew coming in that Casey-Westfield has a rich high school football tradition. You're a high school coach. You've been a coach for a lot of different places. How have you kind of adjusted, and what's this first year been like? It's not over. A long way to go. Some big games still to come, but what's your first year at Casey been like?
It's been phenomenal. It really has. I started in March, I believe, coming to the morning workouts at 6 o'clock, weight room and conditioning, and getting to know these young men, just watching their work ethic. But even before that, the very first team meeting, I told them, guys, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it the right way, and we're going to do things the right way all the time. And I said, and we're not going to put a ceiling on our success. So we're not going to put a ceiling on, just winning the conference or, winning a playoff game. I said, our ceiling is going to be going to the state championship game. So what we do now, every rep, every day, every down, every series, every game, start to finish, is about going to the state championship. And if we believe and we work towards that, we practice like champions, you'll play like champions. We talk about diet so that we have them eat really well. I had one guy cramp up all season long, even in the heat against Red Hill, opening game. we had nobody. So they pay very close attention to that. So when you get a group of young men that have the same passion for the game that you do as a coach, and they believe in the systems that you're bringing offensively, defensively, special teams, and then they execute it, well, I got goosebumps just saying that, because these guys have impressed me immensely, and they're just a wonderful, wonderful group of young men to be able to coach. And I have a wonderful coaching staff too. I mean, they are everything that we do it collectively, and we win together, and we lost last Friday together, and we regroup together, and then we press on.
Coach, I got to ask you about your defense. You know, you guys have outscored your opponents 259-29 this year. You've shut out your opponents in every game except two. I talked to Grant and Connor. You're going to hear from them in a little bit on this podcast. Two seniors that play both sides of the ball. I asked them, which do you take more pride in, being dominant on offense or defense? And they both said, we just like to dominate on the defensive side of the ball, hold the other teams to zero. Just knowing your defense has that mindset, just how does that make you feel as a coach?
Well, it feels great because that's the way I played the game defensively. That's the way I've always coached the game. I told these guys from day one that, you know what, we are going to be aggressive. We're going to get after it. We're going to fly around. You will never get in trouble for making a very aggressive play. You know, we'll jump off sides occasionally on defense, and I just tell the coaches, you know, they'll be like, oh, and I'm like, you know what? They got the clutch in and the gas pedal's down. They just put the clutch just a little too quick, you know? So some people understand that, some people won't. But the deal is, they're ready to go. Their motors are running hard, and we do get after it, and that excites me. You know, I'm a Chicago Bears fan, so the 1985 Bears team, the Bear defense, that was all about putting pressure on people. You know, from start to finish in all parts of the front, and so I also run a multiple front defense. So we'll run an even front, an odd front, a couple of different odd fronts, a couple of different even fronts. So what we try to do is make that offense, those 18, 16, 17-year-old boys think, because we're moving around doing things, but I'm also making their coaches go, well, what are they doing now? And they don't know what we're doing, so then we can get after them a little bit harder. So that when they embrace that and they're excited about it, man, I tell you what, well, look at this smile. All right, says it all.
Well, and on the other side of the ball, of course, you know, with that imbalance between the teams you've played, and you guys obviously really explosive on offense as well. Connor Sullivan was saying that his O-line, he just owes it all to them, and all of those runs that he's had, he really gave a lot of love to the guys up front. What have you seen from the offense this year? You know, you're a defensive guy, and we've talked a lot about that, but obviously a lot to be proud of on the offensive side of the ball too.
Well, I'm an old school guy.
Yeah.
Okay. I got a few years under my belt, and and you know, everybody wants to run the run pass option and spread everybody out, and I think there's a place for that if you have the athletes to be able to do it. But I'm old school. Let's get the ball. Let's control it. Let's control the game. Let's play field position. And so that was a little bit of a paradigm shift for the program here, because that was what they had several years ago, and then they kind of transitioned away, and now we're back to that. And I think, like I said earlier, these young men have embraced that philosophy. Our linemen have, you know, and when you have young men like Connor Sullivan, I mean, he's a big dude to bring down. You know, we got another running back, Luke Karras, who's almost as big as Connor, and he's a sophomore. And then, you know, you saw Grant. Well, he's a big young man as well. And I mean, we just keep loading up and bringing people. And really, by the third and fourth quarter, there are guys that don't want to hit us anymore because we're running them over. And you know, we don't do that, you know, to degrade anybody, but that's our philosophy is let's get after you, let's wear you down. And at some point, you're going to make a mistake, and we're going to put it in the end zone.
It's football.
It's football.
You're not going to light foot around it. What are we doing?
Like imposing your will on another team. Speaking of this weekend, the matchup, senior night too, right? How special has this, you know, your first year? Senior night's always a special night. Get the emotions up and down before the game. Your thoughts heading into the senior night, of course, in a matchup this weekend?
Well, you know, it's really important because, and I mentioned this at a meeting, a gathering we were at, the team and the coaches here locally in town, that at some point this game's going to end for everybody. And when that happens, you know, one thing that never ends in football is the brotherhood that the team creates. So these seniors are getting ready to take that next step. Some of them are going to go on and play college football. Some of them, you know, here in the next few weeks, hopefully several weeks, you know, it's going to be their last game. So in front of their home crowd, a special evening for them. And these guys as seniors, they could have done one or two things for me as a coach. They could have said, well, we don't really believe in you. You're an old dude and, you don't really know anything. But they have embraced what we do. And I know I love them. I think they love me back. And so I'm part of that brotherhood with them. And so it is going to be a special evening. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be here. I'm actually going to officiate my son's wedding on Saturday. So the other coaches are going to take over on that. And so I'm going to be at a wedding, and I'm sure I'll probably have a cell phone or something to watch the game on. So
film could be harder on Sunday or Monday since you're not going to be here much,
I just might have to keep my mouth closed.
Well, that is an exciting weekend for your family. Congrats to your son and your family and all that. That's very exciting, Coach.
Thank you.
Before that, though, are you ready to survive our random questions for Coaches Box?
It'll be fun, I promise.
So Luke and Kobe, they're producers of this show. Luke's starting some new questions this week.
You go first, Coach.
Seen them now.
I did on the way over. I cheated, but they were good ones.
You can only choose one: running water or electricity.
Wow.
Down to the bare basics.
I'm going to go with water.
I think
I'm going to go with water.
I think I got to go with water too. I don't know. I feel like, the power's gone out. I've been okay for like 2 days.
I feel like I'd say electricity because then I could heat up the water that I am getting. And
Where are you getting the water?
I mean, running water. Like I have a well outside that I'm getting like a bucket from. And then I can heat it up over the stove, and then I can.
There you go.
Yeah, you
right?
got the electricity. I would stick with water because indoor plumbing. The power goes out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing I was considering.
Nobody's coming to my house if that happens. It's not going to be a very
I
good
just
spot.
know that people that live in the mountains have water, and most of them don't have electricity, and they survive. So
You're right.
I think we'll all be okay.
Yeah.
If you need any water from my well, just let me know. All right, Grant, you next.
Next up, let's get a good one here. No. All right, when did you know this was the profession you wanted to be?
Oh, this is good.
We'll start with you, Coach.
I feel like you have a good answer.
So I was in college. I actually started out pre-physical therapy, but deep in my heart, I always knew that I wanted to be a teacher and a coach because I had some wonderful teachers that were a great influence on me and coaches that really inspired me. And so it was my sophomore year in college.
Nice.
Yeah, I always loved sports. When I was little, I would turn down games and announce them. I was like 7 or 8 years old. And then in high school, I really loved performing. So I feel like sports broadcasting and sports and performing we're all wrapped into one. So that's why I like what I'm doing here. Yeah.
Best of both worlds. I went to an IU basketball game when I was 12 and saw probably a Big Ten Network broadcast group, and I was like, they get to come to the games and talk about the games, and that's their job. And ever since, I said I was gonna be a journalist. So here we are.
8th grade, 7th grade, WMMS, our middle school newscast. I would do that.
Oh.
Things. And then I knew plus the love of sports. Yeah,
right.
This is not like a job.
Yeah, This is just fun. All right, Jack.
All right, let me pick out a good one here. Let's see. All right, there we go.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, what is something people would never guess just by looking at you?
That I play the drums and I sing.
Ooh.
Wow. Were you ever in a band or?
I was, yeah.
What was the band called?
So the band was called Royal Star, and my claim to fame to that is the lead guitarist, one of the original band members from Train. He and I were neighbors.
Wow.
Jimmy Stafford, and
Oh my gosh.
so I played music with Jimmy in high school, and I played the drums and I sing.
So you played music with Jimmy Stafford, and then you're recruited
With Sean
Payton.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Pretty impressive.
Pretty cool.
Friends of mine.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you're in good company.
Yeah, Coach.
And now will either of them be at the wedding on Saturday?
No.
Gonna have to reconnect.
What would somebody guess just not by looking at me? I don't know. That's a tough one. I'm gonna let you guys go first on that one.
I would say that I'm almost 30 because I feel like a lot of people probably think that I'm 21 and they card me all the time. So yeah, I'm a lot older than I look. They probably wouldn't guess that, I guess. Everything else is pretty transparent.
Age is just a number, right?
Yes.
I was in a male beauty review when I was kindergarten.
That's incredible.
I got second place. I had to ride in a float on the parade with white shorts and a red tank top-ish. I scraped my knee, being a boy, before the parade even started. So the red blood matched my,
Oh my
man.
gosh.
Yeah, second page, I think, in a beauty contest when I was like kindergarten.
We will be finding that image.
Yes,
and
we
it
gotta
will be
find it.
circulating.
I guess I'll go with in high school. I was like always like this tall in high school, so everybody's like, "Oh man, why don't you play football?" I was in the show choir, so that's what I was doing with my free
Hey, we're a
time.
performer.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. We got a band forming over here.
Yeah, I'll sing. Coach will
Yeah,
play the drums.
yeah.
It'll be great.
Oh, okay. So what was the happiest day in your life? I feel like my wedding day, but I also feel like I have to say that.
Yeah.
It was a great day, but I feel like I had better days on the honeymoon, like when we were traveling and enjoying that, like.
Didn't know where that was going to go, but yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm done.
But no, I feel like I'll piggyback off.
The wedding was good.
It's a cheat question because you can have more than one
Yeah.
happiest.
Yeah.
Because of course your wedding's going to be, when your kids are born.
Yeah.
But if you win a big game, I think there's more than one, and that's what makes kind of what we do fun because you're always looking forward
To something.
Yeah, you're gonna have another happiest day of your life upcoming.
Yeah.
If you're living life to the fullest.
Yeah.
Sound like
Wow, look at you.
Good job, Grant.
Inspirational over here.
Positive, right?
So you would just say
yeah.
the best is yet to come.
The best is yet to come,
Okay.
for sure. But there's plenty of,
Yeah.
Tennessee beats Alabama. There's a lot of big happiest days in my
Yeah.
life. But I feel like the best is yet to come.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's good.
I agree with Grant. Best is yet to come, but I'll go with June 19, 2016, Cavs breaking the Cleveland sports drought. I remember I went outside, started just running around. The whole city of Strongsville went to Dick's Sporting Goods. We didn't know what to do. We were all trying to get championship gear. I'll never forget that night. But it's one of the only happy memories I have as a Cleveland sports fan, people. So.
Well, I agree that there are multiple days that are special. So I'm just gonna say this because I just got through speaking twice earlier this week about my salvation, and it would be my baptism and giving my life to Christ and living a Christ-like life.
That's a beautiful
Great answer.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Wonderful.
I think we should do one more, right?
Okay, I think so too.
Why not? It's going well.
Coach, we'll let you round us out here
Yeah,
with the honors.
I kind of looked at the first one,
It's
but I really
okay.
couldn't
It's
see it.
okay.
All right. Okay. Would you rather be hot or cold?
I'll start. I think I would rather be cold because at some point, if you're too hot, you run out of clothes to take off. And you can
Yes.
always put more clothes on. So that's how I
you go.
classically answer that question.
Okay.
Wow.
He's thought about this.
That wasn't the perspective I was going with. I don't mind either, but I don't mind the heat. I like to sweat, and and so I think I'm okay with being hot.
There you go.
I would say cold just because when I get too hot, I get kind of nauseous. Like that nauseous,
Yeah.
like overheated. And it's nice to like snuggle up if you're cold. So I'd say probably cold.
I'd rather be cold because think of all the cool football games that
True.
we covered in the cold. Hopefully
True.
there's some playoff games to come around the Wabash Valley in the cold, but it's hard to, when you're with friends, family at a cold football game, it's hard
Yeah.
to beat that.
Yeah, a little hot cocoa
Right.
with just cocoa in it.
Well, Coach, thanks for taking some time out on a busy weekend. More ways than one. It's going to be a busy weekend.
Yes.
Thanks for having us out for our
Well,
Going to the End Zone
thank
podcast.
you all for coming. It's a pleasure to meet all of you,
Yeah.
and we appreciate the coverage. And like you say, we really hope that our journey doesn't end too soon. We want to really go, and these young men want to go to the state championship, so we're going to do everything in our power to make that happen.
All right.
Great. You guys were the last undefeated team in the Wabash Valley. We were watching our Going to the End Zone podcast. Much more with a pair of Warriors and Jack when we come back.
Welcome back to this week's Going to the Endzone Podcast. We are here in Casey with the Casey-Westfield Warriors. They're off to a great 6-1 this season. They got a big-time game on Saturday this week against Olney. I'm joined by two Warriors now, two seniors, Grant Kokenauer and Connor Sullivan. Guys, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us on this week's podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Obviously, you guys are both seniors. I guess my first question to you guys is you're off to a great start this season, I know, but there's still a lot of goals in front of you. You guys want to make a run and kind of go out on top your senior year, so to say. So just what would it mean for both of you guys to, get on a run in these playoffs and go out on top?
Well, for me, it'd mean everything. Last season didn't really go the way we wanted it to go. So this season, just to kind of like maybe have a home playoff game and just kind of bring it back to Casey, it means the world to me.
Yeah, really just bringing it back to the community. Our community hasn't had a good team since probably like a great team since early, like 2013, around then. So really, I think it's a football community. Everyone comes out for the games, so we can bring it back to them and have a good season in the playoffs. Good run.
You guys are obviously off to a great start, 6-1. I was looking at some of the stats. You've outscored opponents 259-29. You're 6-1. You've shut out your opponent every game except two, I believe. You guys both play both ways. So I'm going to ask you, what is better, when you're dominating on the defensive side of the ball or when you're dominating on offense? Just which one do you like better?
I like dominating on the defensive side of it better. I like seeing that zero on the other side.
Oh, yeah.
I would say probably both, but Coach Britt, obviously, he knows that I like defense more, and just you can see the other team fighting with each other. It's kind of funny. You just want to see that zero on the scoreboard.
Offensively, Connor, you've had a great year. I believe you have like 25, 26 rushing touchdowns, something like that.
I have a lot of touchdowns, but basically all that goes to the offensive line. They've done a great job this year. We lost one guy at Mount Carmel, but I know this next guy is going to step up and do a great job as well.
Hey, man, that's a true running back right there, crediting his offensive line. That's what it's all about. You win the games up front, right? All right, guys, so, obviously just 6-1, you want to finish this season strong. Just for both of you guys, what do you think are some things that you guys need to do to be able to accomplish those goals that you want down the line?
Well, I think one thing for sure is we just need to focus and practice, continuing with the game plan that the coaches give us, and really just go out there and give it all our effort. We have a good team here, and we have a lot of hardworking guys, so I think if we can just keep that up and keep following coach's game plan, that will be good.
For me, I think it's just us staying together. And teams in the past have just kind of fell apart because they're throughout the team. So, we stay together as a team and work as a team, I think we'll be great.
You guys mentioned it. Just how much fun are you guys having this season? You mentioned, this is the first time you guys have had a great team, like you said, in a while. And, you guys are 6-1. You're headed to the playoffs. You're off to a great start. You put up a great fight in your only loss. But, just how much fun has this season been for you guys, especially in your senior year, too?
Well, going on a senior year, going on this note, it's been really good. I've had so much fun this season, honestly. Practice has been fun. I've had so much fun just, celebrating touchdowns and getting defensive shutouts with my teammates. We always like to do this thing called the dolphin high five.
What's the dolphin high five?
You go like this.
There you go. I love it.
Yeah, I can't believe we just did that. But the same thing that he said, just having a lot of fun on both sides of the ball and dominating teams is my favorite part of the game. Just dominating kids.
I love it. So keeping with the fun, a little bit off the field though. So are there any game day routines either of you have? Is there anything you have to eat before a game? Is there any song you have to listen to before or after a game, to get hyped up or something like that?
I gotta listen to probably Hell's Bells, gotta be in there.
Well, that's a great one.
Gotta eat a Subway sandwich right after school at 2:30 around there. Gotta have that. Then I eat a peanut butter sandwich before I go to the school, but other than that, that's not.
We hear Subway a lot, actually, so that's not the first time we've heard that.
Subway is the way to go.
Well, usually before I play, I love peanut butter sandwiches, and it's the thing that keeps me going. And I like eating an apple with that, too, so.
There you go. Well, guys, I appreciate you guys coming on the podcast this week. Good luck the rest of the season. We look forward to covering you guys for the rest of the regular season and hopefully for a nice playoff run.
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more Endzone Podcast from Casey right after this.
Welcome back to our Going to the Endzone podcast. Many thanks to the Warriors for having us out this week. Hard to believe, guys, week 9 of the high school football season on Friday night in Indiana. Illinois still a couple more weeks, so we start with KZ. You know, they had the tough one last week. We talked to Coach about it, but now they get only on Saturday a chance for them to bounce back in a big way.
I think that they have no worries heading into the postseason after that win. It seems like from talking to Coach, talking to the players, like they know that that was going to be a good team. They knew they were going in there with a battle, and they fell short, but they were operating on all cylinders still. They were still very, very impressive. And so I feel like they're just, okay, next week, they're hungry, like he said, and, you know, I feel like they're not worried about anything. They're just enjoying playing and enjoying the season, which is really, really cool to see.
I agree. Just talking to, you know, both coach and the players, they're a very resilient group.
Yeah.
And that game, even though they lost to Mount Carmel's a very good team. They're on top of the LIC now. KZ's in second. But, you know, just playing a close game like that, you know, because they had a lot of blowout wins before that, it's going to strengthen them come playoff time. So I know that they lost, but, you know, I think coach and the players realize kind of in the back of their mind, it's good we played in the game with tight nerves in the fourth quarter, playoff atmosphere sort of, so we can kind of accomplish our goal, which, you know, is going to be making the state championship.
Make some noise in that. Moving back to Indiana, South Vermillion a chance to win a conference championship. You saw their game last week, a chance to win the conference title on Friday.
The Wildcats I mean, they bounced back in that first half. They won 37-22 as the final score, but they trailed by 8 twice in that first half, and every time they needed to play, Dom threw it to one of his receivers. He's having an outstanding year, and when that offense gets rolling, they're really hard to stop. I was really impressed with their defense on Friday night, too. They forced a couple of turnovers. They got a big-time stop fourth down on a punt. So South Vermillions, they're rolling in all cylinders. I mean, they're 7-1. They got a chance to win that conference title outright this week against Attica. They clinched at least a share. They're playing their best football at the right time going into the sectional.
And I think it's Greg Barrett's chance for his 100th win this week, potentially. So that would be a good milestone, too, which would be cool.
Remember when we had him on the podcast, he said, I'm sick and tired of winning 7 games.
Yeah.
He's got a chance for 8
Yes, yes.
Another team chance to win a conference title this week, Northview Knights, going to Indian Creek, Nicole, but we've seen Katia, we've seen Tyler Lee. The Northview defense really stepped up the last week, of course, against Edgewood. Northview's going to need the defense Friday on the road at Indian Creek.
Yeah, they will, and Indian Creek just getting over that win over Sullivan, so they're going to feel hot going into this week again. Like you said, Northview going on the road, but I think that Northview just needs to kind of tighten up in the last week and just focus ahead onto the playoffs, and I think that they'll be able to perform well again this week. They really, I think, other than that loss against South, like they've really looked really strong throughout the season, and I foresee them, you know, having a pretty impressive postseason as well. But I do think that Indian Creek is gonna, they got to be ready. You know, they can't just assume that it's the last game, we're gonna roll into the postseason. They have to be ready for Indian Creek coming off a win against Golden Arrows, who, you know, are kind of hitting a skid, but they're back and forth. And I think that you know, Northview just has to keep it sharp, I think.
Shout out to West Vigo, got a big win last week. They're hosting Sullivan on Friday. The Arrows look to bounce back there. North Knox, they won Play of the Night. Third time this season they won Play of the Night. They're at Paoli on Friday. Without the support, the North Knox Warriors have shown our Play of the Night throughout the season.
It's great to see. It was a deserving play. He carried one of the North Davies defenders into the end zone. I mean, it's great to see North Knox. They're always very nice whenever I've covered a game there, and they show out for these Play of the Night votes, which we like to see. If you're nominated for Play of the Night, you vote this week. You know, we got to get more votes. So
show up and show out. Jack, Nicole, I'm Grant. Thanks for watching Going to the Endzone Podcast. Week 9 kicks off Friday night.